Moses brings the people out of Egypt. He says, all right, guys, come on. Let's go. We're going. He gathers all the men up, and they start running for it. Right? And they're running for freedom. And Pharaoh's mad. Pharaoh's like, hey, you're taking my people. You can't just take my people like that. So he sends all his soldiers out to go get them. He's going to go kill them. And so they're all running, and they're all getting away, and they're like, all right, we're free. We're getting out of here. Because they were crying. And they were crying about being slaves in Egypt. This was a big problem, and God heard their cry. And now that they've gotten this freedom, they run up into a problem, though. They run into the Red Sea. And they're like, man, Moses, you upset Pharaoh now. And you made him all mad. And now he's coming to kill us. And then we got nowhere to go. We're stuck. I can see them in the distance. They're coming with their chariots and their horses and their swords. They're ready to come and attack us and kill us. And here we are, stuck. They're beginning to believe the wrong report. They're beginning to believe the wrong report. Right off the bat, they're already beginning to believe the wrong report. But as they're walking, they begin to walk in the desert. Now they're in the desert land. And they've been walking probably 3-4 days now. And they haven't had any water. They have nothing to drink. And they come across water, but the water's bitter. It's not palatable. You can't drink it. It's like a dirty old dish towel that's been sitting there for a couple weeks. It's real nasty. And so they begin to complain again. And they're like, oh, what are we going to drink? We have nothing to drink. What are we going to do? And they're starting to listen to the report. The bad report. A bad report just comes in. This just in. Nothing to drink. You will die. And they're like, oh, we're going to die. We have nothing to drink. They haven't eaten in a while. And they're like, they start whining and crying again. Like, oh, we got nothing to eat. I can't believe you took us out of Egypt. We had all this food. And now we're starving. This is pointless. You brought us out here to die, Moses. And they start whining and crying and complaining. Because why? They got another report. You have no food. You will die. Oh, that's it. We're dead. They believe it. There's no way we can survive. And so they start crying and complaining about this new report they just got in. I'll take care of you. I'll give you what you need. Just don't store it up. Don't store it up. Okay? So they go out, they collect their manna, they begin to eat it and whatnot. And they're all excited about this great new miracle that God gave them again. Say, oh, maybe that report of the Lord is true. And then what? They start getting another report in. This is the last of the manna. There will be no more manna. So they start storing it up. Exodus 17:3. Here comes, they begin to cry about being thirsty again. Yet another report came in. We have nothing to drink. They start crying, we're thirsty. There's nothing to drink here. I hate this trip. This is not fun. This is stupid. And they start complaining and moaning and groaning and crying like they have been this whole time. Like, hey, did you miss the first miracle where God went ahead and parted the Red Sea? Did you miss the second miracle where God gave you something to drink? The third miracle where God gave you something to eat? So here we are again. Nothing to drink. And they're worried about it. They forgot about God's promise again. They forgot all about it. And they don't know what to do. And they're acting like they're going to die. Numbers 14:3. And they start beginning the bad report yet again. They start listening to the report of the world, the report of the devil. They're listening to the negativity and not listening to the report of God. And they're like, you cannot conquer this land. You can't conquer them. They're too big. They're too strong. You're too weak. You're too dumb. You're not smart enough. You have no idea what you're doing. Does any of this sound familiar to anybody? Is this not what media constantly tells you in your life? TV, you watch it all the time. Just bragging on parents, bragging on children, bragging on people all the time. Telling them about how dumb they are. Feeding your mind with that. You listen to music and they put you down. This is the constant report that's being fed into your mind, into your ear, into your eyes. You're constantly absorbing it and you're receiving these negative reports. And you're not listening to the real report. You're not digging into this report. You're not reading this report. We got to get in here. God said, I am going to disinherit them. I'll wipe them off the face of the earth because they're not listening to me. How long do you have to wait before you begin to believe the report of the Lord? How long will you reject Him? How long will you ignore what He has to say? How long will you keep listening to everything else in this world? Moses acts like a prince over us. Again, they're complaining. God has set these guys free from Egypt. He set them free. He gave them a promise. And they're complaining some more. They're mad at Moses. God's fed up with complaining. He don't want to hear complaining. God killed them. Says, we'll settle that. How's that? You're done. God doesn't want to hear complaining. Philippians 2:14, do all things without complaining and disputing. You know why people complain? It's real simple. Why people complain? It's because they're not listening to the report of the Lord. It's that simple. If you knew and you believed the promise of God, that you are about to endure the promised land filled with milk and honey, then what would you have to complain about? But they're not listening to that report. Their report says you're going to die of starvation. You're going to die of thirst. You're not going to make it. You're too weak. You can't defeat the enemy and take the promised land. They have the promised land right there, but nobody wants to take it. They don't want to do it because they're not listening to that report. We got to stop listening to the negative reports in this world. We got to stop it. When you put those negative reports behind you, oh man, life is full of joy. God is our joy. He provides us joy. There's nothing to complain about.